Hello and welcome. This is Family Connects, a show where we talk to the families, the parents, the married couples about love and marriage, about relationships, and we are basing all this on the Word of God. So thank you for joining us today. Our show today is about the challenges that couples go through before they get their first child, or even maybe their second child. So, you know, we all get married and you're expecting after you get married, soon after, when you're ready, the baby will come. But that's not always the case. And that's why my guest is here today to share her story. It's a good story that has a very happy ending, but there were challenges along the way that, that she had to overcome. And we're looking forward to hearing what you'll be sharing with us today. Her name is Doreen. Doreen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Faith.
Karibu sana. We'll start by you telling us a little bit about yourself, how you grew up, what you do, and then, yeah, we'll get to the details of the story.
Thank you, Faith, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
My name is Doreen Ahere Wainaina. I'm married. Yeah, and I grew up in a normal family. My dad, I was blessed to have my dad and mom. We had six children. Yeah, and yeah, life was good. I can't complain. My parents lived in Nairobi.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I went to primary school, secondary. Then after that, I joined Kenya Institute of Professional Counselors.
Yeah.
Yes, where I did counseling.
So you're a counselor by profession.
Yes.
We're so honored to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
So now, after college, I presume now you started working?
Yes.
Is that where you met your husband?
Yes, I started working, and that's where I met my husband. Though we did not start courting immediately. We were just friends. Actually, when I went to work, he was assigned to show me what to do.
Okay.
And so we became friends. He'd help me out where I'm stuck. And through that, I think that's where our friendship began.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you began as friends.
Yes,
and then
we began
it
as
grew
friends.
To a relationship.
Yes, it grew into a relationship, which grew into marriage.
Into marriage.
Yes.
Ah, we thank God for that. So now, after marriage, you want to have children.
Yes.
So tell us, what happened?
So after marriage, we had talked before getting married, and we had a discussion, when do we want children? And for us, we thought we can have children immediately. So after that, we settle and do other things.
Yes.
So we took about 4 months, and after that, we tried to conceive. By the grace of God, it was positive, and things were well. We started going for clinic. Yes, but there's a particular day that I woke up in the morning, and I started spotting. Yeah, so as I was spotting, we had a gynae who we knew. So we called him and asked him what's happening. So he recommended that we go to hospital and get checked.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went and got checked, and there was nothing serious. He just told me, get bed rest and you'll be okay.
Oh, and they just send you back home?
Yes, and they sent me back home.
How many months were
So it was about 5 months.
5 months?
Yes, 4 or 5 months.
Into the pregnancy?
Yes. So I went home, got bed rest, and the bleeding went away, and life continued. So we went for about another 2 weeks, and I spotted again. So I called him. So when I called him, he told us, come to hospital, we see what's happening, because he used to do a scan. Yeah, so this time when he did a scan, that is when now he broke down the news for us that there was no heartbeat.
Oh.
Yes.
And 2 weeks before, they had not
It
seen
was
any
totally
problem.
okay, yeah. So that's what happened. So we had that discussion. It was painful. He asked us, what do you want? These are the options. And so he recommended we do a DNC. And actually for him, he told us, after the DNC, you can just give yourself time, then try again.
So, for the benefit of our viewers, what is a DNC?
It's where they clean your womb.
Okay.
Yes. The remains.
Yes, true.
They just clean up your womb. And you go to theater, they clean it up, then it's a day case.
Yes.
Yeah, you go in the morning.
You go home in the
Yes,
evening.
you go home in the evening.
So they told you after this you can try again.
They
and
told
have
us
another
after
child.
3 months, you're good to go. Yes, and I think for that time it was painful, but we were so hopeful.
Yeah, there's still hope. A lot of hope.
There is hope. And so we went home, and we decided, let's not take the 3 months, let's give it some time.
Okay.
So I think we stayed for about 6 to 8 months.
Before trying again.
And and then we tried again. But this time, as we were trying, we were not conceiving. But it didn't really bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
you've
still
conceived before, so you know it will
and
happen.
you're still young in the marriage, so you're saying,
let's enjoy.
Let's enjoy. You console yourself. Let's enjoy. There's still time. Yeah, and so that's what happened. And so we stayed. That was in 2012. Then we actually stayed from 2012 to 2016.
Without conceiving?
Without conceiving.
Oh.
Yeah.
And during that time when you've given yourselves a break, did you use any form of contraceptive?
No.
So there was no reason why
there
you're
was
not
no reason.
conceiving.
But when you go to hospital, they tell you there's nothing wrong
There's
with
nothing
you.
wrong.
Yeah. And so you're like, in God's timing, the baby
We'll
will
wait
come.
For the Lord's
yeah.
time.
Meanwhile, let's keep doing other things.
Yes, let's get busy.
Yes.
Is that the time when you started your you told us you're a counselor, but I know you do something else. Is that the time that you discovered you can do something else? Or at what point did you go into events?
I had started events before.
Even before?
Yes. And I think even what made me not in a hurry, because events is so involving.
Yes.
So I was I think I was busy. So it didn't really bring me down.
Yes.
Yes.
You are like, it's giving me time to grow my business.
Yes. It wasn't, Though for the first pregnancy, there's a short while, I got depressed a bit.
Yes.
But at that time, after that, we moved to now a new location.
Yes.
And I think for me, it helped me.
Oh, the change of environment.
Yes, the change of environment, because now the people who used to know what had happened
are not there.
They are not there. It's like you've begun life afresh.
Oh, awesome.
And I think for that, it helped me because there was no much stigma.
Yes.
Because for the first one, I had grown, and
so
people could see that there was something.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, now there's a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And then you have to explain, because people are like, oh, you delivered, is it a boy, is it a girl? And you're asking, do I tell them I miscarried, or do I just play along and say the baby is fine, and what do I do? So, and I remember the first weeks, I'd really get stressed. Because everyone is asking you when you go out, how is the baby?
Because they're just
congratulations.
Everyone is assuming
and
you had
everyone
your
is
child.
telling you congratulations, and you're like, oh God, what do I do? So I remember during the first days after I got out, and everyone is telling you congratulations, and you're still processing all this. Because, it happens so fast.
You don't have time to even
You've gone to the doctor, he's told you, this is what is happening, we have to take you to theater, we have to... And, it happens so fast, and you're out of hospital, then you're back home, and you're trying to relax, then you're trying to get back on your feet, and when you're trying to get back on your feet, now reality is... checking. Congratulations, and you're like, there is no baby.
That was hard.
Yes, and sometimes you just tell someone, thank you, for the sake of...
You don't want to explain.
Exactly. And it got so tough. I remember there was a season, now it hit me that this has happened.
Yes.
And I remember my husband used to go out, and once he goes out and I know he's gone, I'd lock the door from inside and just draw the curtains so that in case anyone comes, they assume
you're not
there's
home.
no one home.
Or you didn't even want to see
Yes,
people. You
yes,
just want
because
your own space.
I couldn't talk about it. You know, you've been so excited, you are anticipating, because it's a baby. It's actually a baby. It's not a pregnancy.
It's a baby to you.
Yes,
Yeah,
to me
it's
it is a baby.
Yeah.
And it's something I was looking forward to. Yes, and you know, sometimes the pressure that comes with a wedding, even at the reception, people are telling you, now we are waiting.
We are waiting.
Yes, you see. And now you have to start saying, hey, this happened. Yeah, and it was so hard for us. But with time, it just, by the grace of God, you just learn to slowly get out of it. So for me, I'd say the first one, what really helped me is my husband was relocated
to a different,
a different location for the place of work. And so that really helped me.
It helps.
Because
different people know and asking you
no one
questions.
knows about me, and so it's just my family. In fact, we had only told my family, my mom.
Your mom.
Yes. And so now it's just my mom I have to deal with, and my husband, no one else. So you feel like,
and
thank
plus
you, God.
Your mom, it's different with your mom. She understands. You can talk to her.
Yeah.
So now it's a period of 4 years.
Yes.
After the first miscarriage. Then now what happened?
So it was about 4 years. Then it's those mornings you just wake up and you feel tired, funny, and you start saying, hey, of late I've been so tired. I'm feeling so lazy, you know? And you're wondering what is happening. Yeah. And so my husband jokes and tells me, maybe you're pregnant. And I'm like, no, it can't be.
It hadn't even crossed your mind that you could be pregnant?
No. So I tell him, I know it can't be. I think maybe I've just been overworking.
Yes.
And I need a break.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I take a break, but I still feel like I don't have the energy. Yeah. And so one day again, I visit the washroom and I notice spotting.
Wow.
And then it just
all this time
hits.
You had not done a pregnancy test?
Because I didn't think it was.
I
think it just went to the back of my mind that
you're like,
this is not happening.
Yeah, not right now anyway.
Yeah. We've tried for all this time. I'm not taking contraceptives. I'm not on any fertility drugs, so it can't be. Yeah, so I go to the washroom and I notice spotting. And it just hits. It just brings back the other memory. And so I'm like, maybe it's actually true. And so I say, yes. I say, let me go to the gyna and just confirm. So, and we went to the gyna and you're told to go for that test. And I come back in and I'm seeing the gyna smiling and I'm wondering, hey, what's happening?
Good news, perhaps?
Yeah, and he tells me, sit down, are you comfortable? I tell him, yes, I'm okay. And he tells me, congratulations. And I think there's a part of me that was just...
you didn't believe?
Yeah, and so I'm telling him, congratulations for what?
You didn't want to imagine that you could be pregnant.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's the fear of the unknown. Yeah, and I was just like, congratulations for what? Yeah, and he tells me, you're pregnant. And I remember that day I was wearing high heels.
You have never forgotten?
Yes. I removed the high heels.
Immediately?
Yes, and stepped down and I was actually shivering.
Wow.
And it's a mixture of feelings.
Yes.
You're excited.
You're afraid.
You're asking God, now what happens? Yeah, and I remember he tells me it's going to be okay. Yeah, just... you need just to take it slow. Yes, and that's how my second pregnancy was.
So, viewers, now we are on the second pregnancy. We are going to take a short break. This is such an interesting story that you need to stay tuned to listen to the second part of this story. Hello, welcome back. We were continuing with Doreen's story, and I want us to just get right back to the story. So you've just been to the doctors, and
Yes.
they've just confirmed that you're pregnant for the second time.
Yeah.
So go on, tell us what happened after that.
Yeah, so it's been confirmed. So I'm there. I have mixed emotions. I'm wondering, okay, we are on this journey again. So I leave the doctor's office. We are very good friends with my husband.
Yes.
So I leave the office and I'm just thinking of him.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
he was
ca-
not with
no,
you at
he
the
was not
doctor's.
with me.
Uh-huh.
And so I call him and tell him, you know that thing you had joked about, it's actually true. I'm pregnant.
What
and
did he say?
He's so excited.
Yeah.
He says, we thank God. And yeah, he was at work. So he says, thank God. Yeah, we are ready for the journey.
Amen.
And so we continue with the journey. Yeah, and it's good. I'm not on any medication. The doctor says it's okay. And yeah, the journey continues. But then again, I think at about 3 months, the spotting comes back.
Again.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so I go to the gyna. And in fact, this time now we've said, let's change the gyna we had. And
Let's go to someone, a different one.
Yes. And so we go to the gyna. He says it's okay, but we are not on any medication. And he says, just go and relax.
That's all, just
Yes,
relax.
yes. So I go home, I relax, but the spotting still comes. I'm having headaches, and whenever I go into the gyna, he's just telling me everything is okay. They do
So
a scan, the baby is okay.
The baby is okay. So the spotting went on for how many months? After the 3rd month?
It went on for about 2 weeks, then it stopped, then it came back. So there's this particular night, morning, at around 3 a.m.
Yeah.
The way you wake up to just go to the washroom. I wake up, I go to the washroom. But when I step out of the bed, I notice, things are not normal. Yeah. And as I step down, there's just blood just...
Gushes out.
Yes.
Wow, that is...
And so my husband wakes up because he had me...
Yeah. The commotion
Yes.
happening.
And so I go to the washroom, I finish, I clean up, and I come. And so we sit on the bed and we pray.
Yes.
Then we say we have to get to a hospital. Yeah, so we dress up and we go to a hospital. And we go to hospital and I get a doctor and he's there and he checks me and the worst happens.
Again, there's no heartbeat.
Yes. And in fact, when I went to that hospital, we were not even told there is no heartbeat.
What did the doctor say?
I don't know. It was not even explained. You know, you're just in that situation, and at that time, you're so vulnerable because it has happened again.
Before, yeah.
So now when you see the spotting, you're so scared. And it's just like, let the doctor do what he knows best.
So this time you're not asking questions?
I'm not asking questions. I just feel, can we get to a scan? Because now you already know, you can hear the heartbeat. I'm just like, can we get to a scan?
Yeah.
I hear the heartbeat. My
you want
heart
to know
will
if
be
your
at
baby
peace.
is
Yes.
okay.
And so apparently, I think my cervix had opened.
Oh.
Yeah. And the doctor didn't explain. And so I'm just told to go to that bed. And they kept for me a drip. And my thinking was, this drip is maybe water trying to help me.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was the drip for labor.
To induce labor. And
yes.
no one is telling
and
you
no one
anything.
is telling you. So I'm lying there, and after some time, I'm feeling funny. I've never been to labor, so I don't know.
So you don't know what
I don't
you're
know.
feeling.
Yes, I'm just wondering, what am I feeling? I'm not feeling any baby movements. And it's just, and now the bleeding is more.
Oh, it's increasing.
Yes, and the back is unbearable now.
Because you're in labor and
Yes.
you don't know.
And no one explained.
No one is telling you what's happening.
And wow, I'm just thinking, what is happening? Yeah. I remember I was even trying to fan myself with my hands. Yeah, so anyway, that's what happened. And as I was there, I think the pain for me became too much. I don't know. And God just sent an angel. I can say that was an angel. Because another doctor came in and he looked at me and realized I had done a few clinics with him, so we had actually interacted.
So he knew about you, your history.
Yes. And so he just told the nurses, clean her up and bring her to theater.
Wow.
Yes. So that's what happened.
So at that point now you realize you're losing your baby?
Yes, that's now when it hit me. And they cleaned me up, they took me to theater. And definitely you're given the medicine to sleep. And so they cleaned me again. They did the DNC. And I think at that time, everything just happened fast. So I remember when I woke up, and the first thing I could hear was the cry of a baby.
No. Did you think maybe it was your baby?
No, because I knew what had happened.
Oh, you'd already been told before the procedure, you were told what they were going to do.
Yes, now this other doctor who had come in told me, this one, we've lost the baby and I need to vacuum to clean you.
Yes.
And so when I woke up, I had the cry of a baby.
Whoa.
And apparently, I had been put in the maternity wing.
Really?
Yes. And so when I woke up, I just became hysterical.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because I started just screaming and I was crying, and now the other people are wondering what is happening to this woman.
Because they don't know what happened to you. Them, they've just had babies. They're there because they've had children.
Yes. And so this time I was taken to theater. That's when my husband was told that I had lost the baby.
He was at the hospital with you?
Yes. At that time it was we were about 6 months.
So almost the same time as the first pregnancy?
Yes, about 6 months. And so when he was told, I think even for him it had hit him so much. The first person he called was my mother.
Whoa.
Yeah, and my mom now called all my brothers and sisters.
And told them.
Yes, I thank God because our family is mom and dad, and they taught us to be very close. And so by that time I was waking up, my whole family was there.
Okay.
So when
so this time you're screaming, they're all there.
When they heard the scream, they recognized my voice, and they all came in. So when they came in, that's when my mom requested the doctor and the nurse, could you please move her? I think she's screaming because she has just lost a baby and now you've kept her where the babies are. This is very traumatizing for her. Please move her
to a general ward.
In fact, she said just move her to a private room
where she doesn't have
she doesn't have to see anyone, talk to anyone. Yes, and I think that was the second miscarriage was the most difficult.
It was the hardest.
It was the most difficult because we had so much expectation. You go to hospital, the doctors don't inform you what's happening. They just...
No one is telling you there's a problem.
Yes, there's a problem. There is no scan, and you're just told, we have to take you to theater. And so I was in hospital for, I think, 2 to 3 days. Yeah, and I think that one hit me. I used to cry, I used to break down. And it was so hard that, in fact, my husband was let now to stay with me in hospital. Oh,
like during those 3 days in hospital, so he had to come and stay with you?
Yes. So he took leave. And he used to stay there. And when he steps out, my family is there, my sisters, my brothers.
So there was always someone with you.
And they really supported me. Yeah, and so the day for going home came. It was still very tough.
You could not imagine.
Yes, because You're living empty-handed. You had so much expectation. Then you've been given that to basin, slippers, and you know when you're going home, my body size, I think when I get pregnant, it just shows.
Everyone can just tell you're
Everyone
pregnant.
can just tell you're
So
pregnant.
when they see the basin, they assume you have a baby with you.
Yes. And so I remember the hospital is not so far, but it was the longest journey of my life.
Back home.
Yes.
Going back home.
And just now getting home, and because we used to live in a flat, the thought of now just getting out of the car, going up, you know, and you have neighbors and they know.
Yeah.
And then when they see you going, they're like, oh, congratulations. Again, the same cycle.
Started again.
Exactly. How is the baby? Congratulations. Nini. Some are even telling you, I'll come and visit. So you're wondering, what will you come and visit? And there is no baby. Yeah.
That is hard.
Yeah.
So the same thing that happened with the first one now is happening again.
Yes.
So now, did you move this time, or how did you get through it?
Now, the second time, I thank God, because our moving from where we were, we were living in Ongatarongai, we came to Kitengela. So we had just joined church.
Yes.
We had been in church for a while. And so for this one, it was, I can say it was hard, but I got a very strong support system.
Okay.
Because as I came to church, for one, we had stayed for a while and we had started serving in church.
In church, yes.
Yeah. So by the virtue of that, you feel like there is a family.
Yeah.
And so I remember even when it happened and I was coming back home, I serve in the youth ministry. By the time I got home and relaxed, there was so many youth. They came home and they were even, in fact, they were the ones who were scared and they were crying as they were coming up the stairs. But as they came, I don't know, God just calmed my spirit.
Their coming actually was good for you.
Yes, yes. And they came and they prayed and we consoled and they called me mom.
Yeah.
They were telling me, mom, we know the baby is coming.
Amen.
Yeah, and at that time, though it was the hardest, I think that is where my faith was built.
From that point.
Yes, my faith was built. And we also have a few couple friends who we've grown together with. They were also there. In fact, they used to come to hospital, and I think it's literally spending like their whole time in hospital.
So God gave you just close friends, family.
They'd come
to support you.
Yes, they'd leave even sometimes at 12 midnight. Yes. Wow. And I think the screaming helped me, because now the nurses and the doctors, I think they were just like, this one, let's leave her alone. So,
or even when you have guests, no one wants to interfere. So guests would come, and since it's a private room, they'd just leave me. Oh, yeah.
They didn't have at its past visiting time.
Yeah, your guests need to leave.
Yes. And so my guests, those couple friends used to come and stay. They were not in a hurry. And they'd leave at 12 or at 1 when now you say, I'm so tired, I need to sleep.
I need to sleep. That's when they leave, when you're ready for them to leave. That's amazing. And we thank God for providing you with people who could be like a support system.
Yeah.
Because I know there's so many people who go through what you went through and they don't have anyone to support them, no one to encourage them or to be there for them. So viewers, we're coming to the end of today's show, but please join us for part 2 of this story. It's a story you don't want to miss. It's a story of hope that God is able to perform miracles. It's a story of restoration. So kindly join us next week for part 2. Thank you for joining us. Doreen, thank you for making the time.